Hey guys, Wes here. I'm gonna do a video for the anniversary of my first video. My first video was a top fin HW filter review, and that filter was horrible, by the way, compared to an aqua clear, so don't get that. So I'm going to do another filter review, but a vastly different one, in that it's a canister. You guys know I have my Sunsun canister right there, and it's been working great, actually. Even though it's not a super high-end filter like a Marineland or a Eheim or anything like that, it's actually pretty good, especially for the price. It was I got it for like 90 bucks, and I think now it went up to like 120. So I'm just going to do a little review. First, I'm going to show you the box. This is the box it came in. It's just a pretty average box. The reason why I actually kept it, though, is because it's a really big box, and right now I just have a whole bunch of extra fish stuff in it. So to start, I'm just going to show you some of the writing on the box. It just says Sunsun, multi-layer filter. It says actually multi-layer full of various filter materials. A lot of the translations are pretty Chinese. They're really bad. High efficiency of breeding nitrobacteria. That's actually pretty accurate. Perfect filtration capability. And then it just has some fish on the front, and it says it has the UV lamp, so that's good. And then on the side, it has all the parts it comes with, and right here it says ceramic ring, active carbon, biochemical cotton, and bioballs, and these three say optional, which is completely wrong. You need all of those except for the carbon, maybe, for an aquarium to function. But they said that because it doesn't come with it. So yeah, it's pretty inaccurate in the sense of media. And then it has just like a tank, and it shows you where you put it. And then it has all the names for the stuff. I'm not going to show you what each thing is, because if you really want it, you can see that for yourself. But some of the names, like input and output discreteness, that's the connector for the hoses to the filter. That's completely horrible. It's a horrible translation. And then there's barrel head, which is the top, and I don't know what that means. And then main body, light tube, draining skep cover. That's just the cover on the top bin. I don't know what a skep is. And then draining skep, that's what they said for the bins. That's really weird. And then output curvy bar. It's pretty accurate and very simple, obviously. Connected bar, spray bar cover. I don't really know what it means by cover. I actually didn't even get that. Well, I think they might have already had it in the tube, but I don't know why they had to label it separately. And then there's dirtiness entrance. That's the surface skimmer. Connected bar, input curvy bar. Again, simple description. Joint of dirtiness entrance. That's just where the surface strainer meets the input tube. Input bar, input cover, sucking disc for fix. That's their take on a suction cup, I guess. And then pipe, which is the flexible rubber tubing. And then it just labels what wattage UV bulb that it has, and this one obviously has a 9 watt. And then on the other side, it just has some instructions like how to attach the hoses, how to prime it, how to take off the UV bulb sleeve, and the button, and that kind of stuff. Right now I just have a whole bunch of extra fish supplies in it, so that's not really important anymore. But another thing I'm going to show you is how I have mine set up right now. Right now, I just have it underneath my stand, and sorry you can't see this very well. Let me get you some light. So right there, it's just under my stand, and it's really easy to set up actually. So it's just sitting under here, and here's the priming button and the 2 tubes. This is the input tube, and that goes up and goes right there, and that's the output tube, and that goes to the spray bar. And it attaches with a, well, this black piece actually goes in, and this is the disconnect to take this whole entire housing out if you need to clean the filter. And it says, well, I've seen on forums that people think that this is a flow control. Don't do that, because that can compromise the pressure of the filter and the seal. So this is the UV. You can see it flickers on and it turns blue. It actually comes with like a rubber cover for the button, but I took that off because it was just a hindrance. And then the cord comes out right here and goes around the back. I just had it face this way because I wanted the hoses on that side, and it doesn't really matter to me if the plug's right there. And then this tightener clamp and the clamp on the other side are just attached to the bottom where it cuts off, and then the 2 side ones right here and here are attached to the top. Okay. And the one thing I needed to warn you is this tubing is really thick. It's actually pretty good quality, and when you set it up, you have to have either really sharp scissors or maybe a PVC pipe cutter or garden shears or something, because I actually had my best pair of titanium scissors, and it was kind of hard to get through it. But don't cut them too short, because you can always shorten them if they're too long. This one was almost too short, but this one's kind of long. So the way it's set up on the inside is there's 4 bins, and then there's a cover, which is what they call the skep cover that I mentioned earlier, and then it cuts off right here, and then the UV bulb is right here, and that sticks down an open shaft in all of the bins. So you kind of have to be careful when you put the top on to make sure you have it lined up, otherwise it could crack the bulb. So it comes with, it's supposed to come with 1 coarse foam and 3 fine bio cotton is what they call it, and mine only came with the fine cotton, so I actually had to buy some Aquatop coarse foam, which is in one of my other videos, and that goes in the bottom bin. The mechanical goes in the bottom bin. What happens is the water comes down, goes through the impeller, which is in this top part, and then it goes past the UV bulb and goes all the way down to the bottom underneath all the bins and goes back up through them. So the mechanical filtration goes in the bottom, and then you want your biological, which I have 2 bins of Cecha Matrix, which I highly recommend. It's basically just a white lava rock. And then the top bin is supposed to be for chemical filtration, like carbon or like Amocarb or Nitrosorb. I don't use any chemical filtration because it's just a hassle to have to change it, so I just have a bin of pot scrubbies, and I think that helps a lot with biological filtration. So that's how I have mine set up. Now, what I want to talk about now is its performance. It pumps out, it says it pumps out 525 gallons per hour, but in retrospect, it actually probably pumps maybe 350 full of media, and mine might even be down to like 300. I'm not exactly sure what the flow rate is. I kind of want to get like a flow regulator, like measure gauge, to see how many gallons per hour it actually pumps. But it claims to pump 525 gallons per hour. Full of media, is a very important factor in a canister, because you don't want to get a canister that has the perfect amount of gallons per hour when it's going to be almost half what it says it is because of the media. So this is actually their biggest model, but if they did have one that was like 650 gallons per hour, I probably would have gotten that, knowing that the media was going to slow it down so much. So definitely take that into consideration. Like if you have like a 37 gallon or like a 29, you might want to get this one if you have a moderate to heavy fish load. But if you have like a highly stocked 20 gallon or maybe a 29, you could get like the 350 model, and you could probably be safe with that. So definitely take that into consideration. The last thing I want to talk about with this filter is cleaning. It's not super hard to clean. The one bad thing is trying to get it out from under your stand, because my dad said that a gallon of water is like 8-ish pounds. So considering that probably holds 3 or 4 gallons of water, it probably weighs maybe 30 pounds, 35 pounds, depending on the media. So it's actually pretty heavy to get out from under your stand if it's on the floor. If you have it like on a table next to your tank, you're definitely going to save your back, because today I actually cleaned my filter, and my back was kind of hurting actually, because I had to bring it into my bathroom and I cleaned it out in my bathtub. So what I did was I just took out all the bins and I stacked all the biological media on top of each other, and every minute or two I would pour some of the tank water on it just to keep it wet, and then I would rinse out my coarse foam and my fine cotton pads just with the tap water, and then I would pour the rest of the water that's in there, because it's obviously full of water, and when you take your bins out, it's going to be about 2/3 of the way full with water, most likely dirty water, because when you pull your mechanical bin out, all the junk and gunk falls out the bottom. So what I did is I just lifted that out of my bathtub and poured it into my toilet, because then it automatically just flushes and you don't have to worry about all that stuff being in your bathtub or getting in like your bath mat that may be on the bottom of your bathtub. So I just poured that into my toilet, and then I just gave it a couple more rinses just with some tap water. And then I put the bins back. Make sure you remember the way your bins were, because I had to redo mine because I accidentally put them in opposite, and it actually matters. I couldn't get the top back on. So you might want to take a Sharpie and mark, just put a little line on the outside where the opening for the UV bulb should be. If you have this, you know what I'm talking about. It's just the little hole in every bin that the UV bulb sticks down into. So yeah, when I put mine back in, I put my mechanical in the bottom, and then my two Seachem Matrix bins, and then my pot scrubby bin, and make sure you fit them in. Do them one by one, and make sure they lock into the top of the bin under them, because that'll definitely inhibit you putting the cover back on. That's happened to me more than once, where they weren't perfectly aligned and I couldn't fit the cover on. And then you put there's a cover for the top bin, the skep cover, if you remember me describing the parts in the beginning. And then you slide the top on, put the UV bulb through the hole, and then you push down on the top as you fold in the clamps that are attached to the top, because 2 of them are attached to the top, 2 of them are attached to the body. And then you make sure those close, and then you put the clamps on the other 2 that are attached to the main part, and then you put it back on your tank, and you slide the hose housing back on, and then you push the lever back down, because when you take the hose, the housing out of the canister, you have to lift up the lever to release them. And then when you put them back on, you just push the lever back down and it reattaches, and then a siphon should automatically kick in and pull water into it from the input of the canister right there, and bubbles will probably come out of here. It's a lot easier if you actually fill it a little bit with tank water, halfway, or even more if you're feeling strong and nimble, because it's pretty heavy. So yeah, it's a fairly good filter. I'm sure that an Eheim would probably perform better, but if you think about it, it's probably double, maybe even more, price-wise. But this is a great filter. It keeps my water clear. It holds a cycle. It's great. It's powerful, and it has a built-in UV sterilizer, which would have been an extra like $80–90 depending on what brand. And then I would have to plumb it in line or get another pump. So it saves you money for $80. You can't beat it. So I highly recommend this filter to someone who's looking for their first canister. But if you've had them for a long time, you probably won't be as impressed because you've had more experience with them and probably higher end brands. So yeah, that's all my advice to you and my review on this filter. So thanks for watching. Subscribe, rate, comment, criticize me. I'm always willing to learn if I'm doing something you don't personally see as right, and share your techniques with me, because there's a lot of ways to do everything in this hobby. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.